Mr. Dutchy Beats.
For starters, I can't believe that AC is actually in charge of marking stuff.
I don't know what that's about, man. I don't know what that's about. I feel sorry for the students.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say it, but yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Only joking. I'm sure he's very capable in his role. Otherwise, he wouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, fuck it. It's I did put out a little thing earlier, and I was like, guys, what do you want us to talk about?
Did you get much back?
I didn't, but what I do have, let me see if I can find it. So this actually this made me happy the other day. So I was scrolling through, just checking. I don't know. I'll just check all the different platforms that the podcast is on, just to make sure everything's uploaded, like how it's supposed to be and everything. So I went to the Apple Podcast app.
Yeah, we got a review on there, didn't we?
Yeah, we do. We do have a review. I'm gonna see if I can find it.
Yeah, hold on. I saw it the other day, actually.
And I was super happy, man.
It's from the lesbian vegan or non-lesbian vegan, isn't it?
Yeah. It's sick. You got it?
Hold on, yeah, I should have it here. Where is it? I just saw our podcast come up in my feed. There we go. Hold on.
But it's cool to have you, because I always used to listen to podcasts, and they would always be like, guys, can you please leave a 5-star review? It helps the algorithms and whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Rate and review, yeah.
Yeah. And obviously we're supposed to do that, but as of now, we kind of haven't. We haven't got people to you know what I mean?
Well, it says we got one review, but it says we got 4 ratings.
Okay, sick.
So,
sick.
And it looks like they're all 5-star because we haven't had anything else.
Nice,
so
nice.
The review says, I've watched 2 episodes now, one live and non-live. I have to say, it's nice to listen to and to see all their personalities. The topics they discuss ranges from music, which I found helpful, to funny personal stories. I rated it 5 out of 5 because some podcasts filter in what they say and those guys speak their mind and have fun. Oh, that's nice. Genesis, Terry and AC have great chemistry as mates, which you can tell from their podcast. I really enjoy it and look forward to it every week. Please keep up the good work, guys. Much love and respect. Wyatt, the anti-vegan feminist. Big up, Wyatt.
Hey, thank you, man.
Same name as a cowboy as well. You're fucking winning at life, son.
Pretty much, man. Pretty much.
Yeah,
it's cool, because obviously we do this, and obviously we had this discussion off camera, off mic, and it's I don't know if anyone's ever going to listen, but we'll just keep doing it and we'll just see what happens. And if it doesn't become anything, it's just a way for us to know what I mean, see how things are going, because
yeah. Well, it's nice that when you start these things, you just expect people and your mates and stuff like that to kind of listen in, whilst every single one of them is a cunt because none of them have listened in or said no. Saying that, there's been a couple of people that I know that have listened in, but it's just nice to get kind of people that you don't know saying nice stuff about it.
Yeah, I've always found it that way, man. I've always found it it's never been the people who I thought would support. It's always just strangers, man, who like what you like. And I think to me, that's always kind of, it means a little bit more. And the friends and family who do support, you know what I mean? They don't just support because they're friends and family. They support because they like what I do and stuff, or what we do. So it's kind of like a good balance. But it's funny because when we first, so the very first episode of this show, the little, the pilot, never got aired. And I don't even know why I didn't air it, because it was really good.
Oh yeah, I think because it's still sitting on my computer.
Nah, man, I think
I totally thought we did that.
Yeah, nah, you send what you're supposed to send, but I was just so bogged down in what I was doing, all the other stuff. It's kind of, it was in the mix of when the Quality Over Quarantine show, I was doing it live every single day. So it was almost impossible to have time to upload anything or do anything else. But yeah, the original premise of the show was like, yeah, let's actually talk about, you know, what goes on in our lives, and men don't talk enough. We don't speak as friends. We just kind
I think AC talks too much.
about what goes on in his life.
Goes on the other end of the spectrum.
It's a good balance. But yeah, today, so for those who don't know, AC is not on today's podcast because his real job, his real life, is taking precedent. So he's doing that marking school work, or I guess marking uni work as a lecturer. So yeah, it's us on the How Are You Doing Mate podcast.
Yeah.
Well, the How You Doing Mate podcast.
Yeah.
Me and Terry holding it down, man.
It's quite funny. I forget this is an actual podcast sometimes. Like, I only remember when it like kind of pops up in my podcast feed.
Yeah.
Because we just sit here on a Sunday night and chat bollocks, I forget that it's an actual podcast. Like, and not really, like, I don't like kind of properly forget, but people talk to me about it during the week. Like, they see an episode. Like, I've got my other little business, my DJ Hub stuff, and I have people on there talk to me about it, going, I didn't realise you're such a gangster, Terry. And I'm like, I'm not at all. I'm not in the slightest. But yeah, it's quite funny that the impact of certain things you don't properly, like, kind of, not the impact even, that's a bit grandiose way to say it, but the sphere of influence of certain things that you do, you don't even realise until someone talks to you about it.
There's like a bit of weight behind it.
Yeah.
Like you say, we come in there and just talk shit, and then I'll be like, in the week, Corinne will be like, yeah, I was listening to the episode and you said, and my heart will kind of sink a little bit, like, what the fuck did I say? And like, other people will message me during the week, like, yeah, I like that on the podcast. We'll get the messages on underneath on the comments on the YouTube video and stuff, and it's like, oh, people actually listening. Like,
yeah, people are listening.
People feel the same way we feel about stuff, and this is another thing, right? So I guess I produce a few different podcasts now, and
yeah, you're a podcast mogul now, aren't you?
I'm trying, man. I'm trying, and a lot of the times, yeah, when I approach people to do podcasts, one of the things they say to me is, "But everyone's got a podcast. No one wants to hear what I have to say," and it's like, it's not that people want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah.
It's just that your voice is important, and in the landscape that we're in, even if the general public don't need to hear what, not the general public, but the world, like, you're not going to be on a massive stage as millions of people. Millions of people don't need to hear what you have to say, but there are a few people out there that will appreciate what you have to say, and that's when your voice becomes important. I was talking to.
So again, it's kind of like we were talking about the other week, but the ants to topple the elephant. Like, there's all of these voices, whilst none of them, I mean, a lot of them do, but like if you're starting your own podcast, it's not like you should have the aspiration to become Joe Rogan or something like that. Maybe you have, I don't know, but there's everybody's voice, like, kind of creates a fabric of what we are at this moment in time, which is a generation, a nation of people that are able to broadcast themselves and put their opinions and their thoughts and their wishes and their aspirations out there into the world, which is exciting to me. It's really exciting.
And I always think, like, I have a real passion, or like a real love of vintage photographs. So there's a page that I follow, which is called Vintage Watford or something, and they just post up like old buildings, and then they'll post up what the new building looks like. So it'll be like, I don't know, some old butcher's shop, and then they'll like flip it over and it'll be like the moon on the water with some outside vomit everywhere. Maybe not the second bit, but you know what I mean? You kind of go, oh, that's amazing. And I feel like I really feel that way about music being a time and place. So this music represents this time and this place. And I feel like all art has that. So
Yeah,
whether
yeah.
it be, and I feel like, not saying podcast is an art form, but it's a creative outlet. And I would love to be able to hear a podcast that was from 70s, like 1978 New York,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Brooklyn, a bunch of kids having speaking their mind every week. Like, to me, that'd be amazing. So
but just imagine hearing a podcast of you when you were at school.
That'd be crazy.
How different your life is now in comparison to like you like kind of or anyone just like kind of spilling themselves like we do on this podcast, just talking about their current lives. Imagine hearing that and how much of a fucking trip that would be from 1993 or 1992 or whatever.
Yeah, 100%. Because I have that in music. Like, I'll listen to like old music of mine and be like, that guy's a prick. I did a little thing the other day where I found my first. I wrote a verse for this Fire in the Booth cipher, the first Fire in the Booth cipher that Charlie Slough did, and I had a verse. I did my little thing, and I had a verse that I'd written for it. So someone mentioned a bar off that verse, and I was like, oh, I forgot all about it. Let me see if I got it, and I still have it. So I went back and read it and was like, mate, half of this would have got me cancelled if I'd got it out, because I messed up halfway through and didn't get all the way through it. But it was like loads of stuff, and it's just like, yeah, this person who wrote this 10 years ago isn't this person now.
No,
and
not at all.
And I feel like music is way more filtered than the podcast or you just speaking, because you can't formulate, right, I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna say that. You just say what you say. Whereas in lyrics, and I mean, you're really kind of, you're always giving that best side of yourself, whereas in a podcast format, you're just saying what the fuck you're saying.
It's of the moment, and you're just saying, I tell you what's an interesting thing. Like I look through, you get those memories on Facebook. You're not on Facebook anymore, but you get the memories from this time last year. If you go back to the beginning of Facebook and see some of the stuff that I was writing back then, like it's not. I'm not sure I'd get cancelled for it, but I definitely would have got arrested for some of it. Like, not even like, I don't know, some of the stuff that I was putting out on the internet at that point, like actually talking about things that I was doing the weekend before, wherever I was in the world, and thinking, fuck, I hope no one ever sees this again, and quickly going and deleting them and stuff like that. No, nothing noncy or nothing like kind of sex offendery or anything like that, because I'm not that kind of guy. But like, just like, stuff that I don't really, I shouldn't have even brought this up, to be honest, but like, I think, fucking hell, like, I just talked about a fight that I got in Departures, where I threatened to steal someone's fucking iPad because they were looking at me wrong. Like, stuff like that. Like, and I think, shit, like, I'm not that person anymore. This is a real time capsule of like that what was happening in those days. Mad. Imagine a full-length podcast of that from even 10 years ago.
That's crazy, yeah. It's cancelled all day long. It's funny, yeah. So I did a little thing that you can
by the way, that status, the only person that liked it was your brother.
What, from that time, from years ago?
From that time, yeah.
That's hilarious. Like, so when cancel culture became a thing, and you see certain people say certain things, and then because you can search individual words on Twitter, I was like, let me kind of see like what things I've said using these cancel words, these words that you shouldn't use anymore. So I was going through it, and it was like at least 50 tweets, yeah, of things me saying stuff, and I'm just like, yeah, nah. Yeah. like and it's funny because a lot of it is not in like, it's not mean-spirited, and it's not done in a malicious way. But I don't feel like you don't really have that nuance in it's like, no, you said this, so that's it. You're cancelled now for saying that. And in a way, I'm not saying, I feel like for saying certain things, you do deserve pushback. But it's funny at the time because this is already going back like 2011. So 2011, Twitter was a wild place. I was saying some wild things, and no one ever really cared. It was just like, okay. Like, you might disagree with it, but at the same time, it's just, that's as far as it went. It's like, yeah, I don't agree with you saying that.
Well, that's half the problems that celebrities get in. Like they get big. Someone goes digging on their Twitter, finds something that they said that it lacks any kind of context, any kind of like, I don't know. This stuff we've talked about between us, right? Stuff that we've talked about, just me and you, right?
Yeah.
Without the context of our friendship, if someone was to just like kind of take a grab bag of some of the things that we've talked about over time, it would look crazy. It would look fucking crazy. Like it would look so bad for both of us. That is Twitter 10 years ago, because everybody was just talking about shit like that on Twitter because it was the wild, wild west. Like James Gunn, like the director of, I can't remember what he said now, but he said some wild shit on there about like some sexist kind of stuff. I can't remember what it was, but not saying that's right. It's that locker room idea of like kind of say things with your mates and blah, 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 blah. And no matter what you say, no matter what anybody says, everybody's had that kind of like repartee with their friends at some point. But that's what Twitter was 10 years. Arguably, that's what Facebook was 10 years ago. People saying like ridiculous shit and their mates laughing at it, and it never got outside that circle.
Yeah. I think like there is like I guess there's a threshold. So I feel like there are certain things that you really should never say. And like I guess like you said, because there's certain things that just aren't in your they're just not in you to say. They're not your personality. And the same with me. So there's certain things I just won't ever say. But and again, with those things, you should definitely be not cancelled, but you should be pulled up, and anything you're on, you should be taken off it. But there are certain other things where I'm just like, you shouldn't say that, but is it such a mad thing? I went out for breakfast with my dad the other day, and we're kind of talking about cancel culture, and he was saying, I don't even know how we got onto the conversation, but he was talking about Jimmy Savile, and he was saying how, I was saying how I can't remember what I was saying, but anyway, he was saying about Jimmy Savile got cancelled, and I was like, yeah, Jimmy Savile got cancelled, but Jimmy Savile only got cancelled by the younger generation, because the things that he did for a lot of the older generation or his generation, they didn't really see it as that much of a problem. Because people knew what he was up to from way back in it.
From day.
Yeah, so to them it's just like, this is the way things are, innit? Get over it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? There's things that are never funny. Like, in my opinion, there's things that are never funny, like rape, things like that. Like, don't joke about rape around me. Like, don't joke about beating up women. Don't joke about racism. Don't joke about. There's certain things that just that are not funny. Like, and if you're not built like that, you won't find them funny. But there's certain people, maybe it's a generational thing, where number one, these things are somewhat accepted. Number two, that is part of the comedic zeitgeist of that generation. Like, and it's a bit of a, I don't know. I think there's a conflict that goes on between generations with stuff like that, and it's usually the mad thing is it's usually there's that generation, there's the middle generation, then there's the young generation, and it always seems to skip a generation, like with the boomers and what they call millennials. I don't really put much stock in generational stuff, but like boomers and millennials having a problem with each other, whilst I, as a Generation Xer, kind of sits in the middle, and I'm the cool one in the middle that kind of was there before the internet, but also gets along with the millennials and kind of isn't like obsessed with World War II and stuff like that. Like, So it's a funny thing, but you're right. I think that there's certain, and this year has put a microscope on it as well, with like a lot of the Black Lives Matter kind of protests, where if we just take the BBC, like a lot of stuff getting cancelled off the BBC, where I've always known that blackface isn't cool, like, and it's not funny, and it's a cheap shot and whatever. But trying to explain why blackface isn't cool to someone who just doesn't get it because of the generational gap, like and weirdly enough, they're actually closer to the generation where that was an actual real problem. Like it's a mad thing, because you can bang your head against the wall. Like I had like a proper stand-up argument with some old cunt down the park when I was walking my dog. I I was chatting to some woman about the Black Lives Matter movement, and like she couldn't understand the rioting, and we were having like a sensible conversation about it. Like she was like, okay, yeah, I get it, blah blah blah. And some dickhead came in the middle and started, and he started off on Black Lives Matter and how like I won't even get into what his opinion was, but it was offensive and it was shit, and you've heard it a million times before. But then he managed to like kind of make his way onto how the NHS shouldn't revive drug addicts and all this different kind of stuff, all this mad stuff. And I was like, your problem is you lack empathy. You have no empathy. You can't see things from anybody else's point of view. And he's like, yeah, but all my generation's like that. And I'm like, it's not at all. But there's people who are transfixed and fixed in this idea of what their generation represents. And like, some of that stuff that they perceive their generation to represent is some horrible shit, but it doesn't have to be that way. That's like the generational thing. Yes, maybe Jimmy Savile it's a generational thing where that kind of thing was accepted, but also the question has to be asked at the same time: has raping young girls ever been acceptable? It hasn't. No, it hasn't.
But I think this is the problem though. So it's when you bring it to kind of what it is and what some things are called. So a lot of it is semantics. So it's the idea that a smack on the ass, or like that whole kind of what we call rape culture. The only part of the rape culture that is really addressed or is seem to hold any weight is the top. Were you forced to have sex against your will? And that's the only bit. And even then you have the whole, well, where were you? What were you wearing? All this kind of stuff. So it's like, there's so much of it that's just kind of, they're okay with, they're cool with, they're never on the side of, they always pick, I don't know, never on the side of what's right, man.
No. So there's the idea of being on the right side of history with a lot of stuff. And I don't think that a lot of people kind of get that concept that like kind of legality and stuff like that doesn't necessarily represent morality.
No.
And things like this. So back to the rape culture thing, I had a conversation with on Facebook, was saying that rape culture is bullshit. That actually dub out that whole bit about bit, but yeah, we'll back to that. Yeah. He was saying that the idea of, and he's a young lad as well, he was saying that the idea of teach girls how to not be raped rather than teach boys not to rape is more valid because men are inherently predatory. And this is a young lad as well. So to be indoctrinated into this idea that I mean, it's basically victim blaming, but like to be indoctrinated into that idea that men are this monolithic idea of like this caveman and men are going to rape no matter what. Like it's not only offensive to women, it's offensive to men as well. Like I think it's the whole idea, and that has come from a lineage of fucking of negative like gender, like what's it called, negative gender roles. So men are the hunter gatherers and blah 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 blah. And this is at the root of rape culture. Like there's, as you say, like dealing with like the very top end of the iceberg, where it's like, did he rape you? Yes. Well, he's in trouble then. But the thought process that led up to the rape is even bigger problem probably at this point. Like because you've got potential rapists out there in their tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, because that idea that women are your equals and women are not just like fucking and arguably so. Like I've had this conversation with people a few times, like about the way women like enhance their bodies or dress a certain way and stuff like that, and they're over sexualizing and stuff like that. Women can do whatever the fuck they want to their body. Stop blaming the women for your perverted sexual inclinations.
But see, this is the mad thing as well, yeah. Because I always feel like when we have these conversations, I never feel like we're the majority. I always feel like we're the minority. This goes with rape culture. This goes with pedophiles. I just feel like there's just so many out there because I'm like, well, you can't be a pedophile by yourself. You must have other people involved in it that are around you that are cool with what you do. And even when I say pedophiles, I don't just mean like, you know what I mean, guys going after little girls. I mean like the guys who used to hang outside of schools, like all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So there's so much of it around, and you just get to the point where you're just like, damn, man, how the hell are we supposed to how the hell are we supposed to fix this shit?
It's one of the first times in my entire life, in my 43rd year, when I felt like I am genuinely in the minority in this country, like with everything, with every way that I think, like with when it comes to nationalism, when it comes to like kind of not being. I mean, I call myself a lefty and a bit of a commie, like, but I'm not. I'm very centre when it comes to
same as well. It's funny as well because like up until actually not even last year, even this year, people are, like if AC was here, AC all the time would always call me a Tory. Like that's AC. AC's called me a Tory forever. Like, and bare people have said, "Oh, the way you think is like, oh yeah, you're like Thatcher, the way you think, and all this kind of stuff." And it's just like, nah, I'm just kind of like, I'm to me, I'm a very logical thinker. So if something makes sense, then I'm like, I don't care left or right or who is it. I just care, does this seem right to me? And I'm always in a position where I love being proved wrong. Like, oh, I was wrong. Okay, cool. I can change my mind. It means nothing. You know what I mean?
I don't know. As long as something's conducted from a humanistic point of view. So as long as there's empathy and there's like the kind of human element to it, I'm cool with it. Whatever it is, I'm cool with it. But this Tory government at the moment, I was listening to like the Guardian like kind of podcast, the roundup of the year, and they were just putting one disaster after the next because that's what 2020's been. But just even like they were talking about a lot of different stuff, but just the Dominic Cummings thing where everybody got put under lockdown and they like framed it where there was people that genuinely couldn't go and visit their dying parents and grandparents. They couldn't go and hold their mother's hand while she was dying. And that really got to me because there's something, obviously, like something that happened to me. But like, and then Dominic Cummings drove 60 miles across the country to test his eyesight. Now, we like, and he's the guy that put these things into place. Like he's the main Tory strategist. Like, and then, okay, cool, he did that. Tories are cunts. That's what they do. But then faced zero ramifications from it, like nothing at all. He's recently been sacked, but that was some kind of backroom power struggle. But like, how at this point in history have we got this? What's the word from it? Chumocracy, where like all the chums in the Tory party are actually blatantly displaying that they're more important than the average working man. And I don't care if you're a Brexiter, you're a Remainer, whatever, that these people are unashamedly showing that the rules don't apply to them. And that just, it really got to me, man. And it got to me because I'm not a Tory supporter. I'm a Labour supporter by default, and I always have been. But like, there's still the majority of the country that are supporting this horrible, horrible, horrible political party. And it made me feel more so than I ever have before that I'm in the minority in this country. And I've never felt like that before. I've always thought this country is somewhat liberal. It's full of cunts. There's some nasty people out there, whatever. Like me and my mates and the majority of the rest of the country are very even thinking, probably quite centered if they don't, even if they admit it or not. But it's the first time I felt like people like us are in the minority.
Yeah, we've had this conversation before about where do we go next, because we are a politically homeless people. So it's like, well, what's next? Where are we going to have a new party to represent us, or Is it back to anarchy, man? Is it back to apathy? Is it back to us just not giving a fuck and just doing our thing, regardless of what the government do? And I guess more and more we kind of have that. And sometimes I kind of feel like, I've said this before, I feel like it's almost what the government want in a way. Like, we want you to just not care about us again, so we can just go back to just doing bullshit and not doing the things we want to do, because at the moment we're under way too much scrutiny. So if we just keep showing you that we're going to do whatever regardless, you'll stop believing in us. And that's, I kind of, I don't know if that's part of it. Because in America, like, I've had this conversation bare times, and like, I don't want this podcast to get too political, but it is political because we live in a political world.
You can't be alive and not be political.
Yeah, you can't be. Yeah. But I always felt like, with my conspiracy hat on, Trump was put in the position he was put in to destabilize American democracy. And so if you look at it from that vantage point, everything he's done has furthered that end. And it's been textbook. Everything he's done. So, and I feel like, well, maybe there's an element of that over here as well, where they're really just trying to somebody's in certain positions are really trying to fuck things up, man.
So the Johnson and Trump, it's no like, I don't think it's any like kind of coincidence, to be honest. Like what it's done, for want of a better example, we've always operated, our two countries, we've always operated on somewhat of a meritocracy. So your merits will take you to the top. Like, neither of these guys' merits have taken them to the top. Like, neither of them, especially not Trump. Like, the idea that someone like that can be the leader of the free world has just completely changed. It's no matter if he's out, no matter if he dies tomorrow, like the idea of what you can achieve through being a cunt, it has completely changed.
Yeah.
The idea that you can be the most powerful man in the world, be a liar, have absolutely no strength of character, be a cheat, be a thief, be a rapist, be all this different kind of stuff, but you can still be the most powerful person in the world. It's fucking scary, man. That's scary to me. Like, Johnson, not as much. Like, he's part of the the elite in this country. So, like, I kind of get that. I do understand it. But even Thatcher, not to big up Thatcher, but even Thatcher had more political kind of intention to her than Boris Johnson did. Like, it's a well-known fact that Boris Johnson didn't give a shit what he called for, as long as he became the prime minister. But he managed to stay out of the office long enough so May could make the really shit decisions and then get booed off stage, so he could come in like the great white knight and sweep the country off its feet and go, "I'm here to save you all." Like, the entire thing is fucking corrupt. And I'm not one for conspiracy theories, but I don't think you're far off the truth there, 100%. That this is all somewhat planned,
because it's always been corrupt, yeah. And we've all known that politics is corrupt, but I feel like it's always been corrupt with a plan and corrupt with people behind the scenes that are really smart, making really smart chess moves.
Yeah.
Whereas what we see now, it seems like there might still be chess moves further back, but what we're seeing at the moment is like, everything you can do wrong, you're doing. So every wrong move you can make, you're making at every turn. So it's always the worst thing possibly for the country we see every time. And you get to a point where you're just like, yo, this is crazy. And then again, like I said, yeah, so I'm not like a left or right, man, but I just watch moves, innit?
Yeah.
Like, I watch moves, and I feel like a lot of us are like that, especially if you're talking about people who work in business. In business, actually, forget business, man. On the road, yeah, like, every move really counts. So everything you do, yeah, has life or death ramifications. So someone does something, and you can look and be like, nah, wait, why did he do that? Why did they do that? Because that's gonna mean something for them. And when you live in that environment, you get very good at reading people and seeing what move is next. I came up under a guy who was street genius, because he would just break things down in ways that you wouldn't even know. You're just like, and I was young at the time, and he'd be like, yeah, they did that because of this. And I'd be like, what? I didn't see that. And then weeks later, you'd be like, oh. And these things, like everything you do, man, it's action, reaction. The laws of thermodynamics. And going back to politics, it just seems like every move I'm seeing, I'm just like, nah, that really doesn't make any sense. Like on any level, like it's crazy.
It doesn't make any sense. None of it makes any sense. So this Brexit thing, right? I'm not going to dwell too much on Brexit, but like, there's a couple of pretty big industries, like big, like kind of big employers, stuff like that in this country. Weapons, car manufacturers, stuff like that. There's like, that represent millions of jobs, trillions of pounds. Not one of them is the fishing industry. Like they quite recently, I can't remember his name, but some expert came out and said, yeah, the fishing industry could represent anything up to, it represents like 0.12 of the national income, whatever it's called. And they said, right, if we were to get our fishing waters back, what we could do, and they know this as well, like if we get our fishing waters back, they can represent anything up to like 2.5% of the national income. And everybody's like, oh, okay, cool, that's good, 2.5%. The fishing industry isn't even worth a quarter of what the entertainment industry is in this country. But then they broke all the numbers down, and it's like, well, with Brexit, we won't have the manpower to man the amount of boats that it would take to create that much income, to create that revenue. We wouldn't have the shipbuilders anymore. We wouldn't have any of this kind of unskilled work to like kind of be the backup. There's no fishermen in this country anymore. Like the wind up thing about it is as well, like there's apparently 26% or whatever it is, 26 million per year is actually for the fishing industry is actually subsidized by the EU. Fucking hell. Like, whilst at the same time, right? So they're sending gunships out to fucking Sandwich Islands or wherever the fuck it is to like protect our fish. I think is it Toyota or Honda, whichever one it is. One of them's already backed out. One of them's already gone. Like which it was 80,000 jobs, or was it 800,000? Oh no, I think it's 800,000 jobs in the entire like kind of Japanese funded motoring industry over here.
Right.
Toyota's already gone. Wherever the one is in Birmingham, the guy from Toyota has already come out and said, well, of course we're not going to keep it in Britain anymore because there's no trade routes now to Europe. The only reason we're in Britain, in England, is because you're a part of Europe. Of course we're not going to. Like so if that's Japanese car manufacturers, imagine all the different like banks, all this different kind of stuff that are just going to go, well, of course we're not going to keep our flagship like kind of tax break companies in your country anymore. We're going to move into France or Ireland or Belgium, or because there's clear trade routes. So this is what gets me. I don't understand why Brexit has got this far when it's going to be so fucking devastating to the jobs in this country, the income of this country, all this different kind of stuff, just on a really pragmatic level of the industry is just going to go, any foreign industry that was here is only here because we're part of Europe. Yeah. Because we've got trade into Europe. It's fucking mental, man. It makes no sense whatsoever. And everybody is like fired up about this fucking, about the fishing waters. Who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck about the fishing waters? Is
there a little part of you, who like, so if we talk about the beginning of our little discussion and we understand that we're the minority and most of this country are a bunch of flag shagging racists.
Yeah.
Is there a part of you that's kind of like, you don't deserve this shit?
Yeah. 100%. I don't like. I never want to be petty, right? I don't.
Nah.
I don't want to. I think that
I do, but
I
I don't give a fuck. Fuck you, cunts, man.
yes, yeah, because that's the thing about this as well. I think people like me, you, and a few of our mates, like we're somewhat fortunate enough to have a circle of influence that has pulled us out of like small town thinking and national thinking and stuff like that. I mean, you being black and being from a different background to me, that's kind of inherently built into your upbringing anyway. I think like for me as a white man, like growing up in Watford and stuff like that, I was very lucky to have a circle of influence that steered me away from this idea of thinking it was Public Enemy, X-Clan and stuff like that, more so than anything else. But I still recognise the forces that the working classes in this country have been fucked over and lied to and systematically like kind of disillusioned by generations of shit government, and that were the forces that bred Brexit.
Okay, so then that's another bit, yeah. So I jokingly kind of say, yeah, fuck the country, let it fucking burn and sink, yeah. But then I'm in a really privileged position, yeah. So number one, I can work anywhere. I'm not tied to the country to work. Number two, I've got a bit tucked away in it, so I don't like this country could go under for the next 5 years and I'm good. It's that whole thing of like, well, it's not even going to affect me. It's going to affect a lot of people around me, people that I care about, people that I don't even know, people that don't even like me, that like, even some of these people that are online calling me names, calling me this, calling me that. Like, I don't hate you enough to want to see you suffer. Like, I don't want to see you lose your job. I don't want to see your family hungry. Like, none of that. And to me, it's always like, that's the bit that I'm just like, damn, man. Like, I don't want to see that happen. Like,
no. See, I'll be okay. Like, I own my flat. Like, I don't have a mortgage. I can go and work anywhere in the world. I can just fuck off. I can get my I was going to say my Chinese passport. I would get my Irish passport and fuck off. Like, it doesn't matter. I could even fuck off anyway. I'm going to be all right. It might be a few less pairs of fucking Air Max every year, but who cares? But this country, if it all goes wrong, and there's nothing to say that it's not going to all go wrong, like with the way that this whole Brexit thing has been going, there's no evidence there that it's not going to go drastically wrong. It's the people who work in these factories. It's the people that depend on that money. Like, my worst enemy, I don't want to see their kids starve.
Nah, of course not.
No, I haven't got any enemies, but like people I genuinely don't like. Like I had a relevant conversation to this about someone quite recently, saying that he has to do something or his family are going to starve, and he did something and it's kind of leveled out a little bit. But like, I don't want to see anybody suffer. Like, and I genuinely see like suffering happening. I mean, I would love to sit back and everything kind of sort itself out, but just sit back and go, I fucking told you, cunt. So this is exactly what was going to happen. Because, I mean, I don't think it will get to the ebb where insulin won't be getting through Dover and stuff like that, or we're going to go short of food. But there's going to be mass job losses.
And it's crazy as well when you think about, I've been banging on about recession for ages. And that's not even taking Brexit into account. That's just due to the pandemic. So if you think about the recession we're about to go through, along with the jobs that are being lost anyway, that all compounded, put together, it's like, it's going to be a crazy time, man. It's going to be a crazy time.
And the thing is, all the money that the banks and all the bounce back loans, all the furlough, all the whatever, the money that the government and the banks are putting out now, it's going to come revisit us tenfold.
Yeah, like, no,
in 10 years, even if we come out of this in some fucking dream world where we come out of this and everything's kind of all right, 10 years time, watch the interest rates go up.
Yeah.
Watch us just get crippled by our own credit. Even if we paid those loans back. I mean, I got a bounce back loan just because I could, and I've put the money away, and it's all cool, and I'm going to give it back in like a year or whatever it is, and I'll take the interest, and it will all be wicked. But like, which I wasn't going to do originally because I didn't want to put any more debt on the company. But then I got a bit of advice, and I was like, yeah, fuck it, just put it away, high yield interest, and so on and so forth. But even that, I'm still going to be paying the price for that because all that money has to come from somewhere. Like it's not just money that, I mean, I know America at the moment are printing their own money and they're fucking the dollar is. Have you seen what the dollar's worth at the moment?
I haven't even seen, man. Since I stopped caring about forex trading, I literally don't even check those kind of things anymore. But
I mean, if we could actually travel properly at the moment, I would go to Florida and go to fucking Disneyland with 100 quid. I'd be a millionaire.
I want to rent out the whole park for a weekend. Here's a 10, I'll keep the change.
I want Mickey to keep bringing me fucking tequila sunrises. Mush, mush.
And sending fairy godmothers over as well.
You, Snow White, you look cute. Like, that was nonsense. Right. So I'll be getting some work done to my website. So I'm getting like a subscription store and stuff like that. And I was pitching for work around Fiverr, and they're all coming back for me in dollar prices. And I was like, they're all right. They're all right. And I checked the exchange rates and I was like, yep, you can have some work. You can have some work. You can have some work.
That's crazy. I don't think I even have the exchange rate on my phone anymore. I used to have it all the time.
Super low. Super low.
This is crazy. Yeah, I need to check. All my stocks are down. Everything's down.
Yeah. It will be for the moment. Like it's funny. I was checking some the other day, and like when they announced the vaccine, all the stocks went, and then when the what's his name? The European negotiator said, we're just not coming to a deal here. All the stocks went,
Shit, man.
Yeah, man. Fucking hell, we haven't said much funny shit tonight.
What funny shit is there?
There isn't any funny shit.
I'm looking at the, we're doing, okay. So the dollar's at 1.34 at the moment, which is, do you know what? It's funny because I remember back in like the 80s and 90s when it was like half.
Mate, I remember going to Canada. The first time I went to Canada, I went over this like in my broke days, in my proper broke days, in my first days of touring. And I went over there for a little tour, and I literally had the money that was in my bank account, which was about 200 quid or something, for like a month over there, and I was getting paid cash and stuff like that. Yeah. I remember changing some pounds up in Vancouver. I changed like 50 quid or something, and they gave me $180 or something. And I was like, the fuck?
That's crazy, man. It's actually, so someone messaged, I was like, oh, what do you want to talk about today? And they were like, oh, I'll talk about Arsenal. And I was like, look, I don't know anything about football, but Arsenal Fan TV, Crucial Robbie used to sell clothes in Luton Market.
Is it? Is he from Luton?
Yeah, man. Yeah, he used to have a radio show as well. Yeah, the radio show, Crucial Robbie. And
yeah, I know.
So like, that's what he used to do. So he used to go over to America with, you know what I mean, couple of grand.
Yeah.
Buy crazy shit over there because his couple of grand is now 4-5 grand, you know what I mean? Bring all the stuff back, sell it over, you know what I mean? Make his money. And that's what he used to do in the market, man. All those
I'm sure Matey Boy from 4-Star General used to do that as well. He used to go over, get a load of clothes, bring them back and sell them for like twice the price.
Crazy. Because you couldn't get it anywhere. Like, it wouldn't even be like the latest stuff. It would still be the latest stuff, but it'd be like the cheapest South Pole or whatever, which is like over there is like $50, yeah? It's like $50.
I remember you saying about the streets is watching is what do you say is the no fear for black people?
Trust.
South Pole used to be the no fear for the hip hop generation.
100%, man. South Pole, FUBU, Like the real FUBU, not that like fake FUBU went hard, but the real FUBU.
The fake FUBU was crazy. The fake FUBU used to throw up like these like I never actually saw a real all yellow FUBU tracksuit. Like I never actually saw a real one. I never saw anybody wearing any real ones. The only ones I ever saw were the ones they used to sell in like at Wembley Market.
Wembley Market, man. Yeah. Like there was nowhere to buy real FUBU. Like nowhere really did real FUBU. Like maybe about 2 places in London you could get real FUBU stuff, but everywhere else was just selling the fake stuff.
Yeah, it was 100% all the fake stuff. Because I remember going over to, I went over to Chicago in like 95, 96 or something like that. And I walked into Macy's and they had all the real FUBU stuff in there. You went to like the hip hop section. They had like FUBU, Walker wear, fucking Woo wear, and then over the other side they had all like the Tommy Hilfiger and polo and stuff like that. And I remember feeling one of the, because I had a couple of FUBU tops, like a couple of FUBU hoodies and stuff like that. Yeah. I remember feeling it, going, this feels so different. I don't feel like I'm going to set on fire if I put rock on this. Like, it just felt like the real stuff.
I swear, I had so much fake FUBU, man. Because they used to do the basketball stuff. So I'd have like the fake basketball tops. And like the FB would like peel off after like 2 washes. Like, yeah, man, it was a bad look, man. It was a bad look. Some of the stuff we used to wear, there was a shop in Harrow, which was called something stupid like.
It's Big Apple, wasn't it?
Yeah, New York style or something. I don't know what it was called.
Yeah, I remember it well.
So we used to go there, man. Me and Terra, we used to buy like some crazy stuff. I used to get, I also used to buy from there as well. The silver jewelry with like the crosses.
I remember you used to go in and there was like a plastic box there.
Yeah.
And there was like weeds, like the Chronic.
Yeah, the ring. Yeah. Oh man,
he used to sell good Carhartt in there though. It was the real stuff as well. Yeah. I bought a couple of active tops from in there. Like, yeah, man. Yeah, he had one in. He was the same guy. He had one in Carnaby Street as well. So where Pret a Manger now in Carnaby Street. There used to be a bit. It was called Big City or Big Apple or Big, like, it was New York City something or other, wasn't it? Like, they used to have exactly the same stuff. So there was the kind of cool stuff over there, like the kind of fake Woo and FUBU stuff. And then there'd be like the Spider-Man, like full print Spider-Man shirts and stuff like that.
Yeah. I had some mad shirts. I had like a samurai, like a manga samurai shirt. The maddest outfit I ever had, was, and I used to rock this shit. Like I was the fucking man with it, right? So it was like a denim top, it was like shiny. And I'm not finished, man. Hold up. And it had the jeans to match. It was a whole suit, like a whole shiny suit.
Yeah, like, I can see it, man.
I was P. Diddy, man. I was the P. Diddy of Harrow. Like, yeah, that shit was cold, man. Rocking with a shiny suit. There's a video, I might have spoken about on this before, but there's a video. I went through this phase where I'll be rocking baby blue everythh. So I had the baby blue Averex, the baby blue Tim.
That wasn't even that long ago, man.
Nah, it really wasn't. It's like 20 years ago. Like, it actually wasn't that long ago. So like I had my dreads in bunches, a baby blue bandana. Like, yeah, man. I think I was like 19. And there's a video. It's still up on YouTube, man. I can't get rid of it. I can't get it down. Of me. It's like me, AC, Terra, Tom Caruana, Drama, and AC. If you see this video, it's funny, because AC used to have really long hair, like hair down his back, and he's there with his ponytail. Like, it's the funniest thing ever. Like, I need to find out who has the original like video. I need to make some copies of this.
You lot standing there like the hip hop Bash Street kids, just like fucking.
But I thought I was so cool, man. I thought I was so cool. And it was one of the ones, it was reinforced every time I went out, because I would go places dressed like this, and people would be looking at me like, oh shit, oh my God. I remember going up the escalator one time. I'm going up the escalator, and these girls are looking at me like, oh my God, look at his hair. And I mean, it's like, yeah, thinking I'm so cool, looking like an absolute dick.
Mate, I see pictures of myself because I've always been quite a portly lad as well. I've always been like a bit larger. And I used to have like a samurai bunch up on the top of my head like that. Like I used to
no way.
With like all like the hair going down the back there. And I used to wear the most ridiculous, like kind of Morris Malone jeans. Like, and imagine this is a time when in the 90s, when all of my contemporaries, all the people that I knew, like were wearing slim jeans, like loafers, fucking, I don't know, Ralph Lauren tops. I turn up to barbecues in the middle of June with like a goose down like jacket on, a hoodie up to there, my hair up there, my Timberland out and stuff like that. Like, and the biggest Sony headphones you've ever seen in your life, listening to like the Gravediggers or Wu-Tang Clan or something like that. Like thinking everybody else looked like a cunt except for me.
But do you know what? I've always been like that, man. I've always been someone who dresses a bit different or does things a bit different. I remember when I was like really young, so maybe about 7 or 8, my mum used to have this jewelry box, and it would have like, she'd put just throw all her jewelry in there. And so I'm like, I've just watched breakdance, so I'm like 8 or 9 or 10 around that. No, I couldn't even be 10 yet, so I was under 9, and I've seen these guys with all the chains and stuff, and not only that, Mr. T's popping as well,
of course. So
I'm like, Mum, can I have these chains you don't really wear? She's like, yeah, cool. So like, she was like, any ones that you could they get all knotted up in it.
Yeah.
Like, any ones that you can unknot, you can have. So I was rocking, like, she wouldn't let me wear them to school, but you know what I mean, on the weekend, I have like 4 or 5 chains, like, you know what I mean, like really thin 9 carat gold.
Ratner's chains.
Like even through my school days, like that was my thing, you know what I mean? Like, and then when I figured out, because I couldn't afford gold, I used to look through the Argos catalog, index catalog. I couldn't afford the gold in the what was it? What was the jewelry shop called in Argos? Can't remember. Anyway, couldn't afford it.
Ratner's or I can't remember what it's called, but yeah.
Something else, man. But then when I realized I can afford silver, so I was like, oh shit. So I used to get like the silver shit and like buy like my silver chains, silver bracelets, that kind of stuff. And like, you know what I mean? I might have like 4 or 5 of them have like a cross on one of them. Yeah, like then something else, another one, like some weird, like a lion, an Africa pendant. You know what I mean? Like all them ones, like, man, I was dripping like way back. Yeah.
See, I've been obsessed with Carhartt since I was like 12 years old. Like since the first time I saw someone wear it on a hip hop video, I was like, I want that. Yeah. We could. My mum wasn't going out and buying me a fucking £200 Carhartt jacket because that's how much they used to cost then. They were like, it was workwear and it's expensive. So like, my mum was a seamstress, so I got her to make me like a full Carhartt suit. And like, God bless my mum, like she was a brilliant seamstress, but like she saw baggy and she made them like a pair of pregnancy trousers. So like, I had these prenatal trousers and this fucking matching jacket, like with all the like the blue denim with the white stitching, and she made a thing on there, like a little badge on there, so it looked like Carhartt, but it said Terry across it.
Oh shit!
I rocked up to my school disco like in my pregnancy suit, like with Terry written on there. It's a coating I won't forget for the rest of my life.
They came at you, man. They tore you up.
Tore me up. See, this was a year after, because my mum constantly made me clothes. She was making me clothes up to like my 18th, 19th birthday, and I always wore them. But like she made me. I can't remember what it was. I saw it in a magazine. It was like someone. It was Chuck D or Professor Griff or someone like that. Where you know one of those big like kind of big like Parker jackets.
Yeah.
With like a big hood with the fur around it, mate. Like, and it said, I'm fairly 100% sure it said FBI on the back. Like it was the 90s look or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, I love that, Mum. Can you make that for me? So she didn't make me a fucking goose down anorak. She made me basically like a dressing gown. Like, so if, out of this this really heavy canvas kind of material that kind of floated behind me, looking like a cape. So, and she put FBI on the back, and then God bless her, she found like this fur thing, and it went round. So I basically looked like I was Hugh Hefner,
pimp.
Hugh Hefner pimp, 13 years old, but I was also part of the FBI.
I'm undercover, guys. I'm undercover.
Mate, that was an epic coating I got when I went to school that day. Like, but the Carhartt suit was probably 6 months to a year after that. Like, I think people still fucking piss themselves about it in the pub in Watford. Like, remember when Terry wore that pregnancy suit?
He said, "Yo, I'm wearing the pregnancy pants, but I ain't giving me the last one pregnant in this room right now."
See, that is why I'm obsessed with, that's why I'm obsessed with Carhartt to this day. I reckon that's definitely one of the reasons why.
He was like, "No, I don't want no fake shit, Mum.
I need
the real shit for now." But see, you're lucky that you had obviously, once again, yeah, my parents weren't buying me no name brand shit, no design shit. But also, my mum couldn't sew or nothing, so you managed to, you know what I mean, get sorted out. But this is what I did, yeah. So you remember that time when the fashion was the jeans, yeah, they were ripped, the ripped jeans, but underneath it was like the material, so you couldn't see your legs.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, cool. So I am, how old am I? 13, 14 maybe, probably 13. So I want some of those jeans, innit? Can't afford them. But what I do have, I already have a pair of jeans. I had one pair of jeans at the time, yeah. You have to remember as well, yeah. So I got, I'm one of 6. So there's a lot of brothers and sisters. So we don't get a lot of clothes and stuff. So I got one pair of jeans, I got one pair of tracksuit bottoms. Now me, being the genius that I am, there's a school dance about to happen. But listen, I got to have them jeans though, man. I got to have them ripped jeans with the thing inside. I wonder what I'd do. I'm making myself.
all the greatest stories start with like this, the ingenuity of a fucking 14-year-old.
This is because I have the same brain as I did as a child as I have right now. So this is how I do everything anyway. So I get my jeans. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get my jeans. I'm going to cut a hole in the jeans to make the rip. But not understanding, in my mind, not understanding to rip it, all you need to do is just cut it and then you have the hole. I cut like a shape like of the rip, yeah? Like a clean shape. So there's no fraying or nothing. It's just a clean shape. I just start cutting, yeah? So I cut 3 on 1. So you got that like 1, 2, 3 cuts up the jeans. I did that. So then I'm gonna underneath where the holes are, I'm gonna put the material that's gonna be in the back. What material am I gonna use? The material for my tracksuit bottoms. So I then get my tracksuit bottoms, cut a hole in the tracksuit bottoms because they're gonna go like underneath there. So then I do that, I put it underneath, then I'm like, this doesn't look great. Like it really doesn't look great. It really doesn't look great. Then I'm like, shit, how am I gonna stitch this shit together? I don't know how to fucking sew. Like, I don't even have any fucking sewing equipment. I'm like, so I go to my mum, I'm like, Mum, have you got any like needle and thread? She's like, yeah, cool. So she's like, what are you doing? Nothing. So she gives me some needle and thread. She must have realized I'm in my room like really quiet for ages. She comes in my room and just sees me in tears with like a destroyed pair of jeans. And I destroyed all the clothes that I owned, right? A destroyed pair of jeans and a destroyed tracksuit bottoms with needle and thread. Because not only that, I couldn't, when I was trying to like stitch the jeans together, you can see the stitches I'm using. I'm like, but on the jeans that you see, they don't have no stitches on them. Like, I'm just doing this all wrong. It doesn't look how I wanted it to look. And I'm sitting there crying because the dance is like the night after. It was like literally the next day. I'm just there crying, and my mum's trying her best not to laugh in my face. But then at the same time, she's pissed off. Like,
yeah.
2 pairs of trousers. Like, and that was the first and last time I ever tried to do my own fashion design, my own cut and sew, man.
See, I tried it a few times. The jeans did not pass on. Like, I'm not a skilled tailor. Yeah, no, definitely not skilled seamstress. Do you remember those jeans where they were like red at the top and then black at the bottom, or
the chippy
red
jeans?
Is that what they were called? Like,
well, the chippy jeans was at the back, so the red part.
Yeah. So the red was at the back. And my mate had a pair of them, but they were white. Who the fuck buys white jeans anyway? But white with red at the back, like that.
Okay.
And he turned up to like Saturday afternoon in the town, and we were all like, kind of, oh yeah, those are wicked. Yeah, I like them. I've not seen the white ones before. And then like, the week after, he turned up, and his mum had obviously put them in the wash, and they were pink.
Oh, and you couldn't even rock pink like that back in the day, man.
Not in the slightest, the 90s. So it was slightly darker at the back there. They're still like, I'm like, no, they're definitely just pink jeans now. That's what you get for buying cheap shit from Watford Market.
Yeah, man. Yeah, chippy jeans were cold. I always feel like there was a time when I was really into fashion, into street fashion, and I still am like into street fashion, but it definitely peaked at that time when I actually cared, because it was like you go into school and people be wearing certain things. You remember the world dance jackets?
Yeah.
Like there just weird trends people would just have, and you'd just be like, yeah.
Do you know what? I was talking to the guy that used to distribute world dance stuff, right?
Serious.
And obviously, like he runs a thing called Eruption Radio now, and we did like an interview with him on my DJ Hub. And I always thought it was weird because world dance, it was just a rave. Like, it wasn't like a big rave. Ultimately, like, there was a lot of other bigger raves out there, like Rain Dance and all these massive raves, right? So world dance, the bags and the jackets used to go to the record shops, like, and they'd sell out or whatever. And then the other brands that were ultimately loads bigger, they sell out, and then they just never restock them. The guy from World Dance just used to drive around London with the World Dance. Like, he used to get like a new batch done up every week, like a proper AC, where he just completely just got his own thing, didn't trust it, didn't go for a distributor or anything like that. Just stocked the back of the car up with all the jackets and bags and just went round, because when one school kid was wearing them, every single one of them wanted. Where'd you get that from? I got it from Unity Records. I got it from wherever. Like, what was the one in Harrow? I can't remember what it was called, but like the record shop in Harrow. I think that was Unity as well. I can't remember, but he just used to drive around London and drop off bags and jackets on a weekly basis, collect his money from the last week, and then go again. And that's why everybody had, because no one else was doing it. Because
that's
no one
crazy,
else.
Man.
Yeah. And the actual raves they were big, but they weren't that big. Yeah. But the fucking bags and jackets were massive. Everybody had them. I even had a World Dance bag. I didn't even like it.
Yeah. Do you know what? It's funny because I had a Red Records bag. So, and the reason why I got the Red Records bag was because I saw somebody with the World Dance bag when I was at school, and I was like, oh, that's cold. So I told my dad, I was like, when you're next down in Brixton tomorrow, can you get me a Red Records bag? And he's like, yeah, cool. So he's come back, got the Red Records bag. I'm just like, oh my days. Like, basically it means I've got one better than them, because they got the World Dance, but I got Red Records with Brixton written underneath it. Man can't touch me. So he's giving me my bag. I'm like, yeah, boom. He's like, oh yeah, Jonathan, Terra, here's one for you as well. I'm like, oh, for God's sake.
Fuck's sake. There goes the neighbourhood.
you just done the whole dance, and then me and Terra both go to school in the same bag. I'm just like, oh, just killed it, man. And
do you remember when Red Records used to be in the station at Brixton?
No, I do not.
It used to actually be in the station. It was fucking bad. So you know where you go up the stairs?
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
just,
yeah.
it was
There used to be
literally just
I remember shops there. I remember stuff being there, but I don't remember.
yeah, Red Records was in there for a while, man. I remember going in there, like not even realizing it was there. I was going to, I can't remember, somewhere around the corner. I was like, fucking hell, Red Records. And I went in and I bought the UK remixes of Tribe Called Quest. Oh my God, I remember it extremely well.
Do you reckon, do you ever think like record shops will come back? Like,
they kind of are. They kind of are to a certain extent. Like I don't know. I don't think they're going to come back in a way that we know them, that we have known them, where you go in and get a dub plate. It's not going to be that. It's never going to be that again, I don't think.
I think I want to do something like that in the future because I've got this idea that I'm not going to say on here because someone will steal it, but it's an idea for a cafe anyway. And I feel like those two could mix together, could probably work. Like,
haven't they got the vinyl cafe in Watford?
Yeah.
There's a place called Pie and Vinyl in Portsmouth, which is wicked. Like, it's none of the records that I like. I went in there and they got like a reissue of a Mobb Deep record and like the Run the Jewels record or something like that. But it's not. I'm not going in there digging or anything like that.
Yeah.
But a really good secondhand curated record shop where with like old jungle, old rave, old reggae, old like stuff like that, and a really good like kind of cafe or like fucking bakery or something like that, I think would work really, really well. I mean, they're fucking that Pie and Vinyl in Portsmouth are fucking killing it. I doubt they sell that much vinyl, to be honest. I think people go in there for the pies and then like Instagram pictures with the vinyl and stuff like that. Yeah.
I got to think of what business I want to run when I move to Japan. I'm getting out of this country, man.
Yeah, same here. I've got to think what I'm going to do when I move to Ghana.
Oh, that's the spot, you know. Have you been watching these? So a little while during lockdown, I just got hooked on these going back to Africa videos, and I was just like Ghana, man, looks like the place.
Yeah.
If you go Ghana, I'm going Ghana, like straight up. Straight up. There's no way.
I want to move to Ghana, man. Like I haven't seen that because like I wasn't aware of them, but like everybody I talk to, everybody like that I come across, like for the last 2 years have been talking about Ghana, like how it's the land of opportunity. There's just opportunities there, whether that's money, whether that's lifestyle, whether that's whatever. I mean, there, I'm just going to go back to Ireland. I say back to Ireland. I wasn't actually born in Ireland. Get my Irish passport and fucking off to the fields, man.
Yeah.
Running my online DJ company, and all these fucking gammon nationalist piece of shit cunts can go fuck themselves in their Brexit.
Oh shit! Nah, yeah, like
it's your pricks.
I've always had like the idea of living in a country, like in my mind it's always like Ethiopia or Mexico or somewhere like I could just be, and I don't have to, I'm off the grid.
Yeah.
But it becomes more and more like a thing. It becomes every day. It becomes more and more like, I need to be away. I watched I spent 2 hours watching this video online of this guy building a cabin in the woods. Like, it's a 2-hour long video. I watched the whole thing, and it was the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. And I was just like, I want to do that. I want to be in a place where I can just build my own little cabin, the size of this front room, and just live here forever, away from everybody.
Like, 100%. So that, my idea has always been Barbados. Like my idea, I went to Barbados as a kid. Is my favorite place I've ever been in my entire life. I thought I kicked a snake, and I didn't, because there's not really snakes walking around in the street in Barbados. I thought there was, because I didn't know where the fuck I was. Basically, as a kid, you just think lions and tigers are going to jump. When you go to like fucking the Isle of Wight, you have no idea. But like Barbados has always been the place that I've envisioned myself, like having like a really nice little like kind of bar on the beach, small little sound system, like and just live out my days on the beach, being like friends with all the locals and like doing like kind of football tournaments and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of how I envision myself. But the more it goes on, the less I want to be around people. The less the more I just want to go into the backwoods and like be away from absolutely everybody. And I think that's a symbol for life, isn't it? Like when you're younger, you just want to indulge in people and you want to like kind of, but the further you go on, the more you realize everybody's a cunt and you just want to get as far away from them as possible.
It's funny because when I moved from Brixton, like properly, so like 11 years old, I hated it. Like the fact having to move away from the center of the universe was just like, to Luton, I was just like, nah, this is, and to me at that time, Luton was countryside. So it's like, I'm moving out to the country. I feel like
kind of is, to be honest.
I felt like it was like, I felt like we were like the railway kids where you're getting sent to the country with your rations. And spent
railway kids. I haven't heard that reference in ages.
Listen, half of you don't even know. You don't know about the railway kids. Railway children. Go read the book or watch the film or whatever. But so like all my teens were just spent getting back to London, and as soon as I could move back to London, that's what I did and spent all my time in London. And I probably would have stayed in London. It's only when Kira was born it was like, okay, I can't stay in London anymore. And hating being in Watford, because being like, nah, Watford's still mad country. I'm not feeling it. But it's like, yeah, the older I get, I just want to be in a place where I can see fields. Like, I want to live by the sea. I want to be in a place where there's open space and no one else around.
Yeah.
That's definitely the vibe that I'm going for now.
I think that's the intention. I think that's the. I've always been obsessed with London. Like I grew up in Watford. I was born in London. My family's from London, so I was in London, like northwest London and southwest London, constantly as a kid. So I was never trapped in like that Watford way of thinking where getting on the train to go to London. Oh, that's a big trip. Blah, blah, blah. I've never felt like that. And Watford isn't a city, but it's a big town. And I've always been of the mind state of living in the town. I mean, you know where I used to live, Carpenter's Park, like it's in the middle of nowhere. And it used to kill me as a kid. Like I used to hate it. I used to hate living with a forest behind me. I used to fucking hate it. All I wanted to do was go to record shops and trainer shops and like be close to stuff.
But see, that's funny though, yeah. But because even now, looking like, I would love to live there, like your old place.
I'm gonna live there now.
I remember looking at your bedroom window and just be like, "Rah, that's a fucking wicked view."
Like, I didn't appreciate it at the time. The thing is, I think subconsciously I did appreciate it. Like I'm very comfortable. Like my flat's really comfortable. I love where I live. Like it's wicked. I couldn't ask for much more. Apart from when I look out the back window and see someone taking a shit in the flats across the. When I used to look out my window, there was nothing but like those big old ancient trees and stuff like that. But I remember as a kid, I hated it. I hated it. Like I just wanted to be in the center of everything. Again, that's an analogy for life. Like the older you get, the further you want to be away from like this mechanized, horrible shit way of living on top of each other. You just want to be as separate as possible. Yes, go and indulge when you want to, but like kind of step out of it and go and sit in your back garden and listen to the trees blow.
Yeah. Nah, for real, man. For real. It's and I feel like, again, like we said, the more this country goes the way it's going, you kind of think financially, where's the best place to be? Or not even where's the best place to be. Like I'm always thinking of my business ideas. How flexible are they? How do they work without me? How much work do I need to put into them? And I'm very much like, the idea of passive income is a load of bollocks. So
it's never been true. Passive income is the biggest fallacy that's out there. It really is. Like people talk about, oh yeah, you can get your passive income. There's no such thing as passive income.
Is a load of bollocks. But I feel like at the same time, what work can you do that involves the least input from you?
With the most to gain out of it.
Yeah. And I feel like that's where I'm at the moment. Like, okay, cool. How does this work going forwards? And I feel like, so the first part of it was when we went into lockdown, when everything fell apart, the first thing I did was just stopped everything. You just stop and see what's going on, what's working. Then when I came back, so the clothing line, I stopped the clothing line dead. Like literally took everything off the site, took everything down because I just, number one, I didn't want to be in a position where I was sending things to other people's houses and not knowing what, you know what I mean, not knowing what was going on.
100%.
So stopped everything. when it all started.
It's impossible at that point to do that anyway.
What's that?
It was next to impossible at that point to do that anyway.
Yeah. You know what? I saw people doing it early, starting deliveries and stuff, and I was just like, yeah, I'm not comfortable with that. But then going back, I was like, okay, when I started back up again, I was like, well, let's see what we can do in this environment that's going to work now. What businesses work really well now? And
drug dealing.
Drug dealing was up, man. That was
up.
These youngers, man, they were killing it, and still are.
Yeah.
And actually, do you know what? That's another thing. Investing in legal cannabis, that's been like something I've been looking into a lot. I haven't found the right companies yet, and I haven't done my homework properly. But yeah, that's definitely something going forward. I want to get into. I would love. I say this all the time, man. I love to make money from weed, and it'll be such a full circle of like going from doing it illegally, and I was really crap at that. I was like, people always say like, oh, you know, why didn't you carry on? You know what I mean, on the road, because I was really, really, really rubbish. Like really, really, really rubbish at it. I cannot. Drugs are really easy to sell, but I was so shitty. I could not sell drugs because what I know about myself is if I'm not passionate about something, I just don't care about it. And I was definitely not passionate about selling weed. So
in my limited flirtation with narcotics salesmanship,
yeah,
is probably the best way to put it. I did it purely to make some money, like to bulk out what I was doing. I'm not going to get into the era and all that kind of stuff because it's actually quite embarrassing when I talk about the era of when I did it. But like, and it ended really badly. And I think I've told you about this, haven't I? About the front door coming in and the old bill coming in.
Oh, so you got the same way as me then. It all ends the same. That's the way it ends for a lot of people.
What's that?
That's the way it ends for a lot of people.
Oh yeah, it was embarrassing. It was like mortifyingly embarrassing, and I was more than old enough to know better. It's not like a kid thing either. Like so, that I had no enjoyment out of it whatsoever. There was no glamorous life about it. There was no there was nothing entertaining about it. Even there was no like kind of glamour to it whatsoever. And I mean, you know me, I'm naughty when it needs to be naughty, like, and I enjoy naughtiness when naughtiness is there to be enjoyed. But like, that is fucking horrible. Like, I could never imagine myself ever doing anything like that again. But the lessons it taught me about certain things, about having to like kind of, I don't even want to go into the lessons, to be honest, because they're not particularly moral lessons. But that entire episode of my life is something that I would never want to repeat. But if it was legal, I could see myself investing in it for sure. Like if it's something that kind of came around because the lessons I've learned from it from the first time, like, and it became something that I wouldn't lose my entire career over now.
Yeah.
And fuck yeah, I'd invest in it.
I think the problem is when I first started, I was only doing it again just to make a little bit of money. I had no business acumen, so I didn't know what the hell I was doing business wise. I wasn't in it for business. I wasn't going, oh, do you know what? I've got an ounce. I'm trying to get a key, or I've got a key. I'm trying to do. I mean, like I've got a 9 bar. I'm trying to get a key. Even though I've managed to build up here, it was all by accident. It was literally by, and even how I started was all by accident. Like I never went in, was like one day, I'm going to do some drugs. One weed, please. Like, it didn't happen yet.
Fresh £5 note, please furnish me with the weed.
Like the way it happened was literally just all like dumb luck. One of the times that happened, one of the things that kind of helped me make quite a lot of money one time was a random guy coming up to me in the street, hippie guy on a bike, rolling up to me on Watford High Street, going, do you smoke? And I was like, nah, I don't smoke. He's like, but do you know anyone who does smoke? And I was just like, yeah, obviously. Like, he's like, okay, well, I've just cut my crop, but I don't really want to smoke anymore. Do you want it? Like, what? What are you talking? Like, is this a setup? Like, no, you can have it. Man, he hands me, a black bag full of weed. Yeah. So like, I go back, weigh it up. It's a lot. So I'm like, this is what is this, man? This is some Reggie Bush you just made in your loft. I gave it to Tara. I said, Tara, man, smoke this. Is it any good? Tara's like, yeah, man, this is good. And then so all of a sudden, I just gone from, and then bearing in mind that every time I was like, I wouldn't even re-up, man. I would just buy the same amount I bought the last time. And I would just be extra money I made, I would just spend on food to survive the next week. That's literally all I did. And so, yeah, that kind of got me to like another place. And then again, it happened another time, a lot more than that. But a guy just going, yeah, we got like they must have, I don't know how they got hold of it, but they got hold of a cheap amount. But the whole thing, me doing it, I hated every second of it. But I just didn't want to work a normal job. That was it. I didn't want to work a normal job. I also liked the fact that people knew I was a dealer. So you kind of get that little, you know what I mean? That little street cred from it. Yeah. And
so I'm not going to get into my story too much, but my story is very similar to like kind of to that, where it just turned up on my doorstep one day and I had some serious bills to pay. So I indulged in it for a little while, made a connection, got more, but was super, super shit at it. But when people were coming around the house, I shouldn't be talking about this, to be honest, but like when people were coming around the house, that idea that you were of a certain status and they were there for something.
Yeah, you're the plug. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah,
it's somewhat thrilling. Like it is thrilling, but it just felt dirty every single time as well. Like it felt horrible, and I felt like I should know better. It felt ridiculous. It felt like I was playing a role as well. Yeah. Like it's not a good thing, man. But at the same time, if that particular thing became legal, and I'd do it all day. I'd 100% do it all day.
Yeah, invest, does not sell. Because again, it's just different.
People throw money at you. Yeah. People throw fucking money at you. And if you do it right, I can understand why people do it. I'm not advocating it at all. It's really terrible. It's a shit thing to start doing. But like, I can understand why people do it. And especially like going back to Brexit and shit like that, right? There's going to be so many drug dealers in this country. There really are. Because what's the way that people get over like kind of this depression and like feeling like the world is on your shoulders, drugs and booze. Even who makes money? Drug dealers.
Even with the demise of the NHS and the idea that cannabis has so many healing properties.
Yeah.
I feel like that's going to be what you're going to do. You're going to go to get on a waiting list to try and get your pain medication from the NHS. And if the NHS isn't there, it means you're going to have to pay for it. Or are you going to try and get some weed, which will probably be cheaper? So
yeah.
I think that's the way things are going to go, man.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, 100%. It's a sad state of affairs, man. I'm just kind of staying really vigilant. I'm trying, like I'm and the thing is as well, yeah, I'm not a doom and gloom person. I'm always the optimist. I'm always the person who's about trying to think positive. Like what can be the most positive outcome?
Yeah.
At the same time, I'm a realist as well. And I think looking at the situation realistically, I feel like I've got quite a measured approach, and I feel like my measured approach on what the future holds, it's not going to be great.
No.
And so that's the future that I am preparing for, man.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if everything will just instantly turn to shit overnight, but I think we're going to see an incremental chipping away of what we consider to be our way of life in this country. Like just a little bit every single day, there'll be certain things. And I'm not talking about conspiracy theory freedoms and stuff like that, but I actually am starting to come around to thinking that that our basic freedoms in this country that are afforded to us as a privilege, to be honest, like they are going to start getting chipped away for sure. But also our financial freedoms, like stuff that will like kind of be able to partake in, and not because of the coronavirus or anything like that, but like certain institutions like clubs, bars, places where we would go and play, places where we would where young musicians and artists and stuff like that get to cut their teeth. They're just not going to exist anymore because of the mass closure of number one, before it was happening, before this coronavirus, that they actually like kind of appointed a London night czar to like kind of look into, because it was getting so bad out there with like kind of grassroots venues shutting. But after the pandemic, how many of these places are actually going to be open? How many places are actually going to be available? And this has started happening a while ago, like for people to open studios, for people to the funding there to do like kind of like community initiatives where you get people involved in music and art and stuff like that. None of this is just going. None of it's going to exist. Like our standard, our way of life, or what we expect for the enjoyment part of our lives. Maybe we do all need to go back to like a slightly more like kind of nature focused way of enjoying ourselves and enjoying nature a little bit more, and like kind of fucking reading books and shit like that. Like, not that I don't read books, I fucking love reading books, but it's not what I call a Saturday night knees up.
Okay, this is crazy. Yeah. So, okay. We had a problem in the music industry when we went from hard copies, physical copies of music, to MP3s, right? And there was a lot of pushback because as artists, we were like, no, we don't want to go to MP3s because that's not how we make our money. Going forward to where we are now, we know what time it is, blah, blah, blah. It's all the game has changed because it was down to what's best for the consumer. Somebody invited me to invest in an app the other day, and the app is live music shows, but for virtual shows, basically virtual music shows.
Yeah.
My initial reaction was, hell fucking nah. I don't think that forever we're going to be dealing with we're going to be in this situation. And I don't think virtual shows are going to be the norm. People want to go to shows. They don't want to sit in their house and do this. Then I was thinking like, well, we said the same about cinema. We said the same about so many different things. People don't want it. They want this. They want to do that. Are we going to get to a place where that's going to be the norm? Like virtual shows are the norm now. And
so I think yes, right? Because if you look at AJ Tracey, right? AJ Tracey, a big name in the UK music industry, right? Yeah. Like not a Stormzy, but not far off, right?
Yeah, real close.
So every young person, and I'm talking like under 15 years old, that's come into my studio in the last like kind of 3 months, let's say, right? Every single one of them wants to DJ with W10 by AJ Tracey. Right. And I was like, AJ, like he's a big enough artist, but like, why this? Why is... So I looked at it, and he did a show in Fortnite.
Sick.
So there's him, and there is
Travis Scott.
What's that?
Travis Scott.
Travis Scott did a show in Fortnite as well, yeah. But the other one that's really like kind of taken flight with the young people is Marshmello, like some EDM DJ.
I know Marshmello.
So Marshmello and AJ Tracey, they're all absolutely 100% just sold on those two. Those are virtual shows. The reach of those virtual shows and the age catchment of those virtual shows is ridiculous. So like, and that's just one small thing that I like, one small trend that I've seen. Obviously, Fortnite is a platform that's an established platform anyway, that's going to be there, and it's like whatever I mean, you could have an old man farting on Fortnite, and everybody would want a T-shirt of an old man farting. Like it's that kind of platform, but that's not taking the importance of away of what it can do for an artist's career if they get onto a virtual platform. And it's not just their music playing there, it's like them doing live performances in there. So if you were to, yes, I mean, there's a few like kind of platforms around now, like Mixcloud and stuff like that, where you could do a live concert on Mixcloud, like 100%. Like it's, and the like kind of native audience in Mixcloud is getting bigger and bigger and bigger since like the Twitch has started to shut down like kind of copyright law and stuff like that, and Facebook are having none of it whatsoever. So why not? Like it just needs the right platform to launch. And I've always said that this live streaming thing has got legs to a certain point, but it's never going to progress past like a kind of like a grassroots level, like Johnny the DJ jumping on his decks in his front room. He's kind of got him, he's sorted himself out with £100 kind of webcam and like audio interface and stuff like that, and he's kind of learned how to do it, but it's never really going to get much past that. You get put a green screen behind you, like have whatever like cool graphics on the screen, but it's basically just someone DJing on Facebook. No one gives a fuck. Even if you got 100,000 people there, like with D Nice or something like that, and he's done all right with it, but still, even then, it's not really going to penetrate. You need it to drip down, and that's what
she said.
Hey, but you need
penetrate, drip down. Yeah. Sorry, yeah.
I love it. That's what she said, and that was perfectly timed as well. So you need it to drip down. That's so. If who's the biggest artist in the world at the moment? Oh, fuck knows. Like Taylor Swift. Drake, yeah. So if Drake did a live stream concert from venue, like so did it at a venue, so scale. So it's not just him in his studio rapping, him and 40 or something like that. So there's actual scale to the visual that you're seeing, and sold tickets to it. That would sell. That would, but from there, the inspiration and the impetus to create a platform where that will trickle down to the grassroots, then that's when you can start selling tickets to live stream 100%. It's not going to work from the bottom up. It's not going to happen from the bottom up.
See, this is where I do what I do, yeah, and this is how I've always thought. So yeah, you can have like the biggest people doing the biggest things, and they've taken something and scaled it up. But little me, if I take that idea and scale it down, then I can do that in my little circle. And they're making their millions.
And that's not to say that you won't make money out of it. That's the thing.
I'm saying. They can make their millions, and I can make my thousands or my hundreds. And I've done that with many different ventures, and I've always kind of. I like that idea. Even with the podcasting like thing I'm doing, like it's because I've seen people do it on a massive scale, and I'm just like, all right, let me do my little thing over here, man, and just have fun with it. And we'll see if we ever one day we might get some advertising. We've already been approached by people who want to advertise little things at the moment, but we're not there yet. But I mean, but to me, I'm just like, oh, okay, cool. Like it does. I'm trying to get some crumbs here, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that'd be sick. Wait. Let's break it down. So would you have like say if you had a venue and you get somebody, say you get Skinny Man performing, we're going to sell, he's doing a show. We've got the platform for you to do your pay-per-view business. I just bought a pay-per-view yesterday, actually.
Yeah.
Apex Battles. And I literally paid 20 quid to watch one battle. So obviously there's people that are gonna do that. So you say, yeah, look, man, it's £10 to watch a Skinny Man set.
I mean, look at the boxing, right? Look, what was his name? Not Wee Man. What's his name? Little Man. And he had the fight with the Russian guy. I can't remember. Or was he Ukrainian or something?
I don't even know, man.
Yeah. So they had a boxing match, and it was cool. Like I mean, it's obviously decent enough money for them to do it. He worked his social media crowd, did all the hype beforehand, sold tickets. They obviously made a good bit of money out of it, and it was all good. That can work for music as well. That like it definitely can work for music. This idea of pay-per-view, but I do genuinely think there needs to be movement up the top before there can be movement at the bottom. So I think there has to be something set up the top here where people go, okay, yeah,
it's normal. Yeah.
So it becomes the norm, exactly.
Yeah, I get that. I just want to be I want to be an early adopter.
For
these things, because I think.
I mean, it's out there already. Like, it's definitely there are things happening, right? So, like on Mixcloud, you can do a Mixcloud Premium kind of thing,
right?
Excuse me. So, and you can sell tickets to a live stream.
Okay.
So you can sell a ticket like a subscription to the live stream. There's another platform. I can't remember what it's called. They inquired about me, and like they said that. I wasn't interested in it personally, but I don't think it's a bad idea. Where they have you play, you put the ticket out through your social media, whatever comes back, they split with you like 50-50 or something like that.
Okay.
I think there has to be something where there has to be a stem. So stopping all the free content happening, and then do limited free content. Like, so do one thing every 2 months or whatever, but the rest of it is either a subscription or a paid ticket, like a pay-per-view kind of ticket. So you're not giving all your content away for free, because basically what are you going to do that's different from your free stream that you've potentially been doing to what your like kind of paid stream is going to be? There has to be differential between the two. Like, so for example, like,
didn't just do one. Rag and Bowman I swear he's been doing.
Sure,
something.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like, I can see a lot of people doing it. Like, so, for instance, right, slightly different content, but like my DJ Hub, I'm moving everything to a subscription service, because I do really see subscription as like the way of the future. So I was doing a free webinar every Monday night, different stuff, like getting people in from Pioneer and Mixcloud and all this different kind of stuff that's relevant to, and I did that for like 4 months, every Monday night. And I'm moving now to getting the site redesigned and all that kind of stuff. So there's a tiered subscription level. So it's going to, you're going to get one free webinar a month, and then you can submit like a mix to like our Mixcloud page and get streamed for free and all that kind of stuff. That's all fine. But all the other content is paid for. Like you get free podcasts as well, but all the education content, all the webinar content, all like the mastermind content, which is going to be like kind of experts talking on things and all that kind of like a TED talk for DJs. I don't want to give too much away, because I'll tell you about like, but that has to be like, the free content has to be stemmed. Because everybody's been giving everything away for free which is fine. It's good. Over like the kind of lockdowns and the pandemic, that has to now be, it's kind of like the old bait and switch thing. So you give it all away for free, then all of a sudden, boom, there's like a pay gate there. And it doesn't have to be a massive pay gate. It could be $2.99. It could be fucking £299. Like, you decide that, but there has to be differential between the free content and the paid content. And I think that if us as a music industry can work that differential, then that in itself, it will work. It will 100% work. I think you need a dedicated fan base, and you need a differential between your free and paid content. Anything more than that is down to you making that business work.
Yeah. It's hard. I think when you look at things like Versus, and you're like, you're giving us so much for free.
Yeah.
And obviously it's not free for them, because someone's getting paid somehow. I'd love to see how the business model works. I know they did a deal with Apple.
Well, that's the other model. That is the free to user model. Like, ultimately you're paying money, or you're the payment. Like, that's the two models that exist. You're giving money, or you're the currency.
I remember that. I remember that from that Netflix show. Yeah, he said that.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're not sure what being sold, is you.
Yeah, because you're being sold, like on those versus things, you're what's being sold, because whether passively or not, like your attention is what's the Apple or Ciroc or whoever's sponsoring it. That's what they're, so there's that paid advertising thing. I mean, my other model in my head is exactly that, like paying DJs, getting venues, all that kind of stuff, all backed off of sponsorships. So that sponsorship there is from whoever. It wouldn't be from Pioneer, but let's just say from Pioneer. Pioneer pays X amount, the DJ gets X amount, the venue gets X amount. And what happens there is everybody's winning, because the product is being put in front of the consumer in a very credible way.
Yeah.
And the DJs and the venues and all that kind of stuff, who are suffering like fuck at the moment, are getting paid for it. It's a symbiotic relationship.
Shit. My mind's just gone to another place. I can see how certain things can work now as well. Because again, you're right, man. Venues are sitting there empty right now.
And the government has said you can use venues for live streaming.
Damn.
The government has said you can go into venues, even in fucking tier 3, and that venue, because they're kind of making some kind of effort to make use out of for venues to be able to monetize their actions. You can go in there, you can set up all your lights, you like do it like a gig.
And
that would be the honestly, that's the nuance between you sitting in your front room and spitting bars at your iPhone, and then, not saying you've done that, but you know what I mean, like, and then going to like having a fully produced event going on, like with all the lights, the cameras, all that kind of stuff. That's something that's worth paying for.
That's sick. And I think, I guess I've been thinking about what we do, what to do next, and especially kind of giving up for next year. It's actually quite funny. I was supposed to do a show on Friday and Saturdays. I had shows booked for Friday, Saturday, and next week, Friday, Saturday, that they cancelled. But I still paid me for them. And
where was that?
This was in Waltham.
Oh yeah, you were saying about that. Yeah.
So they cancelled him, but still paid me for the shows, man. I was just like crazy, and they're paying me a crazy amount to start with anyway. I was just like, damn, son. So when they were like, yeah, we're cancelled, I was just like, nah. They're like, but we'll still pay you. I was like, back of the net, Spice World, and
Spice World. I was watching that the other day. That's another thing. Like Mobb Deep, the infamous, is what I listen to when I don't know what else to listen to. Alan Partridge is what I watch when I have nothing else to watch.
Someone was saying that the other day, like, yeah, it's too long looking for new things to watch. It's too much. You just go back to like the old stuff, man. I'm just watching, Curb Your Enthusiasm. That's the go-to right now, man.
I literally watch the American Office, Seinfeld, Rick and Morty, Alan Partridge, and People Just Do Nothing on loop all the time.
People Just Do Nothing is so fucking good, man.
It's amazing. Incredible. Have you heard their podcast?
I need to listen to it properly, because I keep seeing it up and then like missing, like not checking it out. That's going on my fucking, I need to check that out.
Go put it on your to-do list, because it's not even like the People Just Do Nothing podcast. It's the Chatting Shit podcast with Hugo and Grinder.
Yeah.
Fuck me. Just those two talking is just like, when they do, like, they don't even have a guest on or whatever. The guests are good. They have wicked guests on, but just those two talking is
gold.
Unbelievably gold. Like, it's just so funny, man.
They did one of the best things here. So when we first went into lockdown, they had like they posted up like a group chat, group chat.
Oh, it's brilliant. Yeah,
it was that. To me, I was just like, that is fucking gold on all levels, like understanding all levels. But my camera just died.
I was going to say, you just completely changed angles. I think your camera just died.
That's the sign that the podcast is over, man.
Yeah, that's just lost the romance of your shot.
It has,
now you're just sitting in the corner of your fucking living room instead of like that cool close-up shot with the slightly out of focus fairy lights in the background.
It was looking so nice as well. It's all good, man. It's all good to.
I've really got to make more of an effort with this. Like, I need to set up the GoPro and the microphone and stuff. I'm just here talking into my laptop. Did I tell you I got a new laptop?
Nah, switched
yeah,
out.
I had to get a new one because my iMac died. So I mean, it hasn't died. The USB ports on the back have died.
Okay.
But yeah, fucking got a wicked deal, man. Sure. Are you still looking for a new one?
What, Mac?
Yeah.
Yeah. I still need to get a new one.
Hoxton Max, mate. They are the fucking like the price I got. You've gone complete. Oh, there you go. You're back on. Back. See, that's all like kind of cinematic now.
It's not gonna last though. It's not gonna last. I don't know what happened. I think the battery died.
Yeah, Hoxton Max, man. They're fucking wicked. Like I got a B grade one, reconditioned, all fucking beautiful, works like a dream. And it's B grade because it's got a couple of little scratches next to the USB-C port.
Same.
The money they knock off of it for being big, and it just didn't have a box, but it's brand new. Same. I opened it up and it had like new laptop smell. It was fucking wicked. I'm gonna check
that out, man. I'm gonna check that out. Yeah, I think I need to get. I was gonna get one before the end of the year, but I'm gonna wait till the new year now.
Yeah.
To switch it up because I've got so much music on here and I couldn't bother to like change everything over.
Time machine backups, mate. Time machine backups.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't even touch my Serato. I just did a time machine backup from my.
I'm gonna
back in the trap. You're out there. You're out the romantic, cinematic kind of look now, and back into the trap again.
I think the battery's dead.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Well, that's it, man. I need to update. So I was waking up 5 a.m. to go to the gym every morning, which I did up until Thursday. And then I was like, no, I don't want to do this anymore. So gym time has been moved to 8 o'clock rather than 5 o'clolock.
That's not too bad. 8 o'clock's pretty good.
It makes no difference, man. 5 o'clock was flipping packed. It was rammed like it was like...
Because everybody's got the same idea.
Yeah. So I was like, nah, not doing that. So this way I get way more sleep anyway.
Yeah.
Because I was dying, man. Like having 6 hours sleep a night just wasn't the one.
No, see, I talking about 6 hours sleep a night. I started wearing my Fitbit again.
Fitbit,
to like kind of track my. I'm walking like I don't. I said this to you before, I think, but I don't understand how I'm such a fat cunt. Like I walk like not far off 8 miles a day.
That's fucking nuts. I don't even walk 8 steps a day. I walk to the car. That's it.
I took the dog for a walk in the morning. Like the first day I wore it, I was like, fucking hell. Like I took the dog for a walk in the morning. I walked down the station, walked around the studio all day, took a quick trip to the Carhartt shop, came back, like walked back up from the station, took the dog out again, came back, and I walked 11 miles.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, that's nuts.
Most of that is dog walk, to be honest. But yeah, talking about like fucking Fitbit, like and sleep patterns. It's for some. I don't know what happened. I think I die when I go to sleep because it just does not tracking my sleep patterns whatsoever. Like I wake up. I think I literally pass into like the realm of the dead, like in Coco or something like that. Like, and my fucking soul leaves my body, and it doesn't leave enough trace elements of me to actually track the amount of time I sleep. It's like one day it said like an hour and a half, and it blatantly wasn't. And then the next day it was nothing. Then 2 days after that it said like 12 hours, and I'm like, maybe I just need to update the fucking firmware on this or something. So I launched it, and I've not worn it again.
Oh shit, that's actually nuts, man. No, I'm trying. So I've been looking at this. I've been researching the importance of sleep and how much sleep you need. So what I'm doing at the moment is trying to get as much sleep as I can. So I've been trying to get 8 to 9 hours every night. So I've done that. I did that on Friday night, Saturday night, and I'm gonna do that tonight. And then I'm gonna from now to the end of the year, just kind of start seeing what's happening. I want to know what happens if I sleep properly, which I've never done in my life.
No, I haven't.
Eat some vegetables and like take some vitamins. You know what I mean? And drink water, more water. I've always been good with the water, but all that stuff. I'm just like, okay, you know what? I can't. I need to take my life a little bit more seriously. So that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, see, I drink a lot of water. Like, I'm constantly drinking water. This is the reason why I piss like a fucking elderly racehorse, to be honest. Like, I'm constantly going to the toilet. Like, a couple of my students have said to me, "Are you diabetic?" And I'm like, "No, I'm definitely not. I just got checked quite recently." Like, but I'm constantly taking pisses. But yeah, the mad thing is, I walk, like I say, at least 7-8 miles a day, right? I drink gallons of water. I don't eat any red meat whatsoever. Like, I take all my vitamins in the morning. I have, on average, between 4 and 6 hours sleep a night, and I constantly feel like shit.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, innit? That 6 hours. So the guy was saying that if you're sleeping less than 7 hours, like you're just fucking yourself up, basically.
Yeah, constantly tired, man. Not feel like shit, like, but I'm constantly tired. I'll get up in the morning, feel all right for about 2 hours, and then by the time 12 o'clock hits, I'm like, I could go to bed now.
Yeah,
it's mad.
That's
what it does.
I don't. Yeah, that's the
lack of. Yeah.
I think one of the things I've noticed. So I've always been like a 5 hours, 4 hours kind of person. Then started being okay. Lockdown was really good because there was a point when I was going to bed late, but I was waking up whenever I wanted to.
Yeah.
So I did that for like a couple of months, which was good. But I've just kind of like stopped that now, and my normal bedtime will be like maybe 1 in the morning, and then I'll be up at, well, everyone gets up before me, so they'll wake me up at 6:30. So then from 6:30, I'm not sleeping properly. So basically, I figured out I need to be in bed so that I need to be in bed by 10 o'clock, basically. I need to be in bed by 10 so that before 6:30, I'm getting 8 hours, and then any extra time after that is a bonus. Because I need to be up out of here by 7:30.
See, the thing is, my body wakes me up at 6:30 every morning, standard. Like and it always has. Like I don't know what it is. Like, I've always worked. I think because I'm always working. Well, back in the, like, traditionally, I was always working like with a time that I had to get up. Like missing a flight or fucking needing to be at the studio at some point, something. And I have like an emergency switch on in my body. I think like if my body sleeps, if I sleep for too long, my body just wakes up. It's like, where the fuck am I? What am I doing? Where do I need to go? And that's not healthy, man. Like you say, during lockdown, I think that subsided a little bit because I was more relaxed in like kind of in my going to bed routine. My worst enemy is fucking like getting on YouTube or getting on something like that, and then seeing a video of like Lord Finesse like going through his record collection or something like that, and then thinking, oh yeah, I'll watch that for the next 20 minutes, and then 4.5 hours later I'm on to like Diamond D or like fucking J Zone or something like that, and I'm like, fuck, this is pointless. I could have watched this like going to work tomorrow on the train.
Yeah, I'm quite disciplined with like bedtime. Like, I'm looking at the clock now. I'm like, yeah, it's 26
getting that way, innit?
And I'm out. Like, I'm gonna be in bed. I'm gonna be in bed by 2:30. Like, well, by the time I put this equipment away, I'll be in bed by at least 1:45. Like,
yeah.
I ain't fucking about. But yeah, man, we've missed AC's crazy stories this week, but he will be back in the next episode, hopefully. What you got planned for this week?
I got an investment meeting on Thursday, which is quite exciting.
Big things. Lanyard gang, fall the fuck back.
Lanyard gang, clang clang. I don't know. Yeah.
Don't know where we're going with that.
What else have I got this week? A lot of lessons, but yeah, I got a couple of things. I'm working on the website at the moment. I'm finding I'm actually trying to train myself to equip the website with a subscription service.
Sick.
Using what's it called? Flick. Oh, fuck knows. Some nerd talking about.
Some fucking nerd.
I don't know. It's their job.
I don't know. You're telling me something. I gave him a fucking wedgie and a noogie and told him to fuck off.
Yeah.
Go and do it.
I was like, have you ever actually seen any tits? Fuck off like that. Chucked him up the studio, and he got his porch and went and saw his supermodel wife. My fucking nerd.
He got in his diamond Porsche and flew away.
He used his time displacement, like kind of machine engine in his Porsche, and went to when I wasn't such a fucking cunt. Loads of bits and pieces. What are you up to this week?
What am I doing? I'm quite behind on feature verses. I think I've got about 5 that I need to do, so I'll try and get those done at some point.
Anything exciting?
Nah, not really.
Now a bunch of cunts who just want to give me some money.
Nah, like just kind of chill stuff, man. Just like
blah blah blah, rapping, blah blah. They just fuck off.
Yeah, just chill, chill stuff. It's a nice little easy one.
Nice.
I've got like I'm trying to push everything back till next year. So
yeah.
I've got some more publishing work to do, but I'm trying to push that back till next year.
Are you writing some publishing stuff then? You writing?
I've got two little bits and pieces. So one of them is just the usual, my publishing deal, but I've been connected with a songwriter who is a like multi-platinum songwriter, like been killing the game.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to figure out how we're going to work together, what I need to do, because basically what they do is what I want to do in the future.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's so sick, just literally being off the radar. No one knows who you are.
Yeah.
You're making hits for like some of the biggest artists in the world. And
that's the way to do it, man. It's totally the way to do it. Like some good friends of mine, like kind of TMS did that a while ago. Like they're not exactly off the radar, but like they're not the celebrities. They're the ones that go to the Grammys and to hear their like kind of their stuff getting Grammys and like go on. Britain's got what's it called, The Voice, and what's it called, The X Factor and stuff like that. And hear their songs being sung on the X Factor and stuff like that. But they're just normal guys who are raking it in.
I feel like that's where I want to go, man.
Yeah, that's the flex.
So I'm kind of like, I'm trying to be proactive and use my initiative. So they haven't given me any work yet, but I'm going to be like, okay, this is the kind of thing I would do for this kind of artist. This is the kind of thing for that kind of artist. Is this the kind of thing, would this work? And then just try and get pointers and then hopefully get them to kind of mentor me into the position I'm trying to be in, man. So
100%.
Yeah, that's the goal for this. Well, for the next couple of weeks anyway. Yeah, that's what I'm on, man.
Development time. That's what it's all about, man.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I was forced into a position recently to write a business plan. Like I was chatting to this sick woman. Like she's so sick, man. Like she's the one that goes out and like kind of looks for investment for you. She has to like kind of hear you out, like your business, and then she goes out and she like looking at her achievements is so sick. But I had to spend some like kind of investment time in like writing my like kind of my ultimate business plan, even if I didn't think it was realistic, like buying property and whatever, like which I'm not. That's not what I've ever had in mind for my business. But she made me sit down and write like the most extraordinary business plan that I could, and that's what you've got to do. Sometimes you just got to think, right, what do I want to do? What do I want my life to look like in 10 years? And if I can write it all down on a piece of paper and be legible and be like kind of and make it presentable, there's someone else might believe in that.
True.
Someone else might say, well, okay, cool. And the thing is, there's this woman's got a track record for doing that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So like that's what excited me about that. Like I've never even thought about like kind of giving up equity in anything or like letting anybody else come in and whatever. But fuck, if it means that I can still have complete creative control over my career, but also have the being an element where I can actually achieve what I want to achieve and not have to worry about like kind of generating money from here to put into there, to then take over to there, and then whatever. It's fucking great, man. Development time, just sitting back and trying to develop your own concepts is a really fucking healthy thing to do, man.
Yeah, hopefully I'll be in that position in a little while. I've kind of given myself timed goals, and you know what I mean, giving myself time limits and times I want to get things done, and we're kind of getting to those points at the moment. And I think man, it'll be cool. It'll be cool to kind of see where this path will take us, man.
Yeah, man. All right, sweet. Well, next week we can have AC back.
We will, and
we
obviously
start talking about cracking Nazis again.
Yeah, crazy times, crazy AC. But yeah, man.
When he was talking about his fucking the neo-Nazi kid he went to school with, all I could think of was a little kid dressed as Hitler,
with a little Hitler moustache at the back. You're just like, oh, for God's sake, fucking Hans.
Fuck off, Henry. Hitler.
Stop drawing 88 everywhere, you dickhead. But yeah, hey, once again, big up everyone who is locked in. We really appreciate you lot. You know what I mean? Just being there, listening to us chat shit. As always, hit us up on the Twitter machine. And you can message us, man. Let us know what you want us to talk about, answer questions, that kind of stuff. We are here for all of that. But yeah, until next week, stay blessed. Look after yourself, look after your family, and we will see you next week, man.
Blue coo.
Blue coo.
Blue coo.
Oh.
Right, stop recording. Right, so my idea, right, I'm talking to you about just super